we're on 2 radio stations. We're on Spotify and this other radio station.
Yeah, the friend or somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So so we're hitting that, and then eventually I'm gonna start putting this back on our platform.
Okay.
Okay, so man, this week has been spiritual
Mm.
awakening.
Okay. In what way?
And I've really gotten to a place I want to have a personal connection with God. I'm tired of
Mm.
going through a third party.
And who was the third party?
Everything's a third party.
Okay.
Books,
Uh-huh.
people, religions,
Uh-huh.
churches, you know, social media, family,
Okay.
rituals, you know. I mean, all that to me is
Okay.
third party. And in this one concept, so as I'm in this journey of God, I don't want to have to go through all these different mediums trying to figure out if they are leading me to you.
Mm-hmm.
If I have you, I don't have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
all of these other mediums
Yep.
to find even, I know this is controversial, even the Bible. Like
That's real.
yes, I get that the Bible is the closest representation,
Not today's Bible.
uh, supposed to be the closest representation of a connection with you. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
want that. I want what Enoch had.
Word.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like
And that ain't even in the Bible. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want before the Bible what those people had. I want to
Mm-hmm.
have that type of religion. Maybe I'm not worthy, but at
Mm-hmm.
least help me understand how to get worthier or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I want that type of relationship. I don't want to have someone come to me and tell me, "Oh, well, this is what been revealed to me, or this is what I know, or
Right.
this is some ancient text no one knew about
Right.
that just got revealed." Like, tired of all of this.
Yeah.
And so it sparked me to consider all the different types of religion.
Mm-hmm. There's so many.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I had looked it up. There's like 108.
Wow. That's insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And where all these religions, I mean, like, and while Christianity was going on, there was Buddhism,
Mhm.
there was uh Hinduism, there was the Mayans had their beliefs was going on. Like, I mean, there was so many different Africans
Mhm.
having their beliefs. Like, there was still while Christianity was going on, there were
Yeah.
other religions before
Yeah.
Christianity even hit the scene.
Right. Because Christianity, isn't it like fairly new? When you
2000
compare it to to the other some of the other
2000
religions.
compared to,
Yeah.
I mean, Judaism
It
is
didn't it
way
come out of it?
yeah, it did come
Judy
out of it,
yeah.
so, I mean, with all of that said, I want to once again, I need to understand, first off, how do we get so many how
Mhm.
many how did we get so many versions of God? You can't have a lie without some truth.
Right.
So, people must have had some exposure to something greater than themselves. They didn't just make humanity just didn't make up
Mhm. Mhm.
God.
So I definitely agree with you there, and I believe that what you're saying is true, but only for a certain period of time, that these people must have had some encounter with the Most High. I think that was only for, like, the original religions, whatever that may be, because everything else has just been offshoots of those. So it's like that's not really based on your particular experience with the Most High or whomever. Because like we just said, if Christianity came out of Judaism, I mean, would it have been the Judaism that had the experience? It's obviously not the Christianity. It's an offshoot of it. So, I mean,
Right.
that's just my logical thinking, right?
Yeah. So, okay, help me understand.
Mhm.
How can something that happened 2,000, 4,000
Mhm.
apply to what's going on? Like, it can apply, but how does it relate to people who are living today? The world was completely different.
Right.
Completely different then than it is now. How do you help someone who's living in a modern understand, even if you have to say the same thing, you
Mhm.
say it, you say it in a way that is understandable to the people who's hearing it. It's like speaking Spanish to someone who speaks English.
Mhm.
I never understand because it's not in a way I can understand.
I don't know if it's I mean, how is it not in a way that you can understand it? Because, like, how I'm hearing you in the question that you're asking is exactly the reason why we have so many religions. Because people are thinking like that. They're saying, I disagree with this, or for example, we are in a different time when this no longer applies. So let's create a whole other set of beliefs, doctrines, religion that suits today's time.
So I think what I'm thinking, the component missing from that
Hmm.
is I'm thinking instead of it be from man, God.
Mm. But
Maybe I'm
see,
too bold. God needs to say, "Hey, okay, let me. It's been 2,000 years.
uh-huh.
Let me give an awakening to my people so that they understand where I am right now with things."
So I don't think God would do that. And and
Why
the
not?
reason I don't think he would is because religion is man-made. All man. That is not God. God is spirituality.
You don't think God gave man knowledge of God?
Some, yes. And I think that was through the spiritual component. That was through experience, yes. And I think the rest of it, which then becomes religion, is what we try to fill in for ourselves, or we try to make sense of for ourselves.
That's
So
so unfair.
I can go with you. I can. But I believe that every single freaking human being that has ever walked this earth has needed help with making sense out of the world. And they look to and they create religions, to help them make sense out of it, to help guide them, to help give their life meaning. Because it's like without all of that stuff, it's like, what is life? The philosophical question. That's dangerous, so to not go there, let me create some these rules, these stories, these narratives, these guidelines that I stay within, because that's more structured instead of just having all of the options. That's my
Does
thought.
that not go against God's will?
I think it does.
So then if we're doing that because it feels safe, but in actuality is going against God's will, meaning that we're not,
Hmm.
what do you do with that?
I think you just got to go back to the roots, and I think the root is your spiritual system. So the spirituality that I believe in, why it's different from religion, is because it's all 100% based on it's about your relationship with the Most High. It's not about this church. It's not about a tithe. It's not about how we dress when we come. It's all of that is so irrelevant. It's about your relationship with the Most High. And when you're in a relationship, with a human being, and having that experience, you're allowing each other to learn and grow from each other and be inspired by, and treat people well. And that's it.
So what I'm hearing then is it do you think religion has put space between us and
I do. 100% I do. Because religion has been political for most of its existence.
right? Because there's so many rules, so many regulations,
Yes.
so many things that
It's
you
it's
gotta
about
do
control,
that
right.
it's hard to get close to God because you're never good. First of all, you're never good enough to be close.
Never according to religion.
Right.
Yeah.
You're never good enough to be close to God.
Mm.
But then it's like if you don't do things just perfectly,
Mhm.
then God is not going to bless you
And
or
it's so
be
wild though, like when we come up with those thoughts, and I understand why we come up with those thoughts, because I mean we hear it, every week in a sermon, in one way or another. But if you believe in the Judeo-Christian Bible, where it says that what Jesus died for our sins, like there's literally nothing that's separating you from the love of God. It's like it's written there, but then you'll allow some pastor to come in and give you all of these isms and all of this stuff like, oh, I'm not worthy, I'm not this. And he's like, bruh, Why? Like, I'm here. Like, who told you that? Why are you listening to that when I said this right here? So I feel like we make it way more difficult, way more
So a
complicated.
person like me who's on that journey, like, I love my creator. Whoever
Mhm.
created me and what they want from me, I want for myself.
Mhm.
I want to be, and let me preference this as a Christian.
Mhm.
And I'm not a Christian likely. I am a Christian because I've chosen to be, not because I was born in
Okay.
Christianity. When I went through college, I went through a spiritual journey, and I literally went through every religion that I felt may have some value.
Mhm.
So I went to a Buddhist temple, went to Hindu, went well they're the same, but
Right.
Muslim to just those that and even amongst Christianity, I went
Mhm.
through different types of denomination.
Mhm.
And I want to get an understanding. And the funny thing is all those beliefs, even though some are older than
Mhm.
Christianity, have a lot of roots
They sure overlap. Yep.
in the
Mhm.
biblical text. A lot
Right.
of principles, like a
Right.
lot of the, especially in the Old Testament.
Mhm.
So it's like I think I chose Christianity because I was just like it seemed the closest to the source
Mhm.
than all the other ones. Because I mean, it just like it was other people's add-ons. Like they were more admittedly
Right.
humanistic
Right.
than the others. But okay, so here's my point though. As someone like me who is like, I don't want the fluffing.
Mhm.
I don't want to have to go through like I get bored. I
Mhm.
have gotten bored with all of the noise of different and more coming out. Now we
Okay.
got social media. More distortions are
Mhm.
coming out. I've really gotten overwhelmed and just turned off
Mhm.
by all of that noise. All I want is a real connection with the Most High,
Yeah.
with the Creator.
That starts with you. That ain't in a you pray. You talk to him. You express that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, auditory. It could just be, internally, but you're spending that time with the most high. And I was gonna say him, but they got people out here nowadays that's like, why can't it be a she? Why can't it be a her? I'm like, oh my God, who cares? But yeah, you just spend that time with your creator and you allow yourself to be inspired, influenced. I'd like to think of that time for myself as like the most high downloads a lot of information and stuff like that into me.
Yeah.
And that only comes from that time that I spend with them. That ain't got nothing to do with no building and no pastor. And it's like all that's whatever, but I would think that's how you would do it. You just start praying, start talking to him.
I like that. Something I heard this week that I want to give a try.
Okay.
So there was a guy I saw online. He was talking about instead of five senses, we have 15.
Mm.
Spiritual dude. And it made so much sense. So he says, yeah, we know we got our what we see, hear,
Mm-hmm.
taste, smell. But he says, that's our physical senses. He says, we also got to think about the senses we have with our soul and with our spirit. Our
Mm-hmm.
soul is connected to like our emotions. So it's what we create,
Mm.
what we feel, our passion towards other,
Mhm.
our sympathy towards people,
Yeah.
and there was another one. I don't have them all like
Mhm, yeah,
memorized,
yeah.
but I was like, yes, those are senses we have
Mhm.
that we have. And then he says we're spirit too. And he says our spiritual senses is prayer. Oh, they were so dope. Prayer, meditation, praise.
Yeah, that's a
He
big
says
one.
he says when we worship, we worship God, we worship our God. It's us connecting to our God.
Mhm.
When we praise, it's us telling our problems about our God.
Mm. Mhm.
And he was like, we have to strengthen all of our
We
senses.
do. I do like
We
that.
have to strengthen all of our senses, our spiritual senses, our
Mhm. Our soul.
our soul
Mhm.
and our physical.
Right.
We have to strengthen them. And I'm thinking like, okay, if maybe that's the first part of my journey.
Mhm.
The first part of my journey is I have to get a keen sense of all of my senses,
Mm.
not physical too.
Mhm.
What I see, hear, touch, taste, and
Right.
smell, because they can be manipulated.
Right.
They can be manipulated. What we see, touch, hear, taste, and smell. Someone was just talking about Denzel, an AI video
Oh, wow.
of Denzel
Mm.
saying something negative about the church,
Okay.
but it was AI.
Mhm.
And the pastor was saying, like, we have to be aware. We have to, our senses have to be
Mhm.
acute because these things look more and more
Mhm. Real.
realistic.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay attention to details, if you just let things fly by you,
Mhm.
if you're not astute with your senses, you can be fooled.
Mhm.
Now, if our physical senses can be manipulated, our spiritual and our soul
Right.
probably being manipulated on an ongoing
Oh,
basis.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think that that's what so I think that's exactly what and forgive me for saying this, the church has done. The church has made us dead to or maybe just ignorant to those other senses, right? The church has just taught us to obey a certain set of laws, rules, and this is what creates that relationship. This is what it is to be a good Christian, but then there are these other things out here that you're not getting your weight up on. You know, those other senses that you're being attacked with every single
Every
day.
day,
Yeah.
every day. Because I can think about worship
Mhm.
and you think about some of the music. I was watching this concert of this artist and it was secular. And then all of a sudden he just said, put your hands up, put your hands up.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about you had an
Mm.
arena full of people waving their hands in the air.
Mhm.
It almost looked like they were worshiping.
Wow.
And then in the middle of it, he like throws his shirt open, throws his arms up as if he's receiving all of this.
Mhm.
He just stops and he just takes a moment to receive
Mhm.
his worship that he's getting. And I'm like, man, we have been fooled to worship
Okay.
all kind of stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Kind of
Which has caused us to just be fooled, deceived, blind, ill-equipped.
I've been seeing,
Yeah.
I've walked in and I know this seems silly, but to me, it was powerful. I walked in, my daughter was on her knees
Mm.
with a tablet in front of her. Now, when I first walked in, I'm thinking she's praying,
Yeah, that's what I thought you was gonna say. Yeah.
but no, she's in a position of prayer, looking at a tablet. Like something about that in that moment didn't hit me right. Something like,
Mhm.
was like, wait a minute, hold on, time out.
Right.
This don't seem right.
Mhm.
And I know people be like, "Oh man, she was just watching,
Yeah.
a movie or whatever." But we have been fooled because of our senses being dull. Some things that we do and not even realize we're doing is affecting our spiritual and soul.
So help me with that. What about it didn't feel right? Like, are you just saying just the posture
The
that
posture.
she was in? So you believe that that posture should only be reserved
It was
for
a posture of submission.
okay. Okay.
That's what it felt like. It felt like a
Mhm.
posture of submission. Like I am submitted to whatever this is that I,
Mhm.
almost as if I'm so focused, so concentrated on this. My attention is on this.
Mhm.
I am oblivious to everything else around me.
Okay.
Like it almost seems like you ever been on those times where you've been in like deep meditation, focus
Oh.
with God, like you and God having a real serious
Mhm. War.
conversation.
Yeah.
You're really looking for an answer, a
Mhm.
solution like that. Like at that moment, whatever was being projected in her mind got
Mhm.
her full undivided attention.
Mm.
That to me is scary,
Mhm.
especially if it's secular.
Right. I
That
can
to me is
understand that. Yeah.
that to me is scary.
But then what did you do? You know, like are you showing her the other way?
Stop it.
You know, I
Stop
mean,
it.
Well,
Stop
we
it.
can't
Stop it.
necessarily complain, and then we ain't got no solutions. So I mean,
Oh man, stop it. You're
okay.
right. You're right. Okay, 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 okay. You got that. Hey, that's why I'm on this journey. Because
Yeah.
at that moment I couldn't. Like I really could. I could, but I could. I would have seemed like just hypocritical in that moment. If I would have been like, get it, give me that
Right.
right away. But for a moment, my soul was like, get that, grab that,
Man.
wake up, shake her, throw her, something.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
break that tablet in half.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking like, okay, let me be rational because guess what? I'm being honest. I do the same.
Right.
I do the same. And I'm dulling my sense. So if I'm gonna go on this journey, I have to be committed,
Mhm.
re-engaging my sense.
Mhm.
Like I don't think it's too late.
It's never.
But I'm afraid of what I'm gonna find
Mm.
when I do get back to normal.
Mhm.
'Cause I believe we are so spiritually and through our soul deprived,
We are.
even physically deprived,
Mhm.
that we don't know how sick we are.
Yeah. Agree. Agree. Like, I mean, like, when you consider, like, the indigenous people, the ancient peoples who could levitate, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were just so connected to Christianity don't talk about it like this, but
Yeah.
they were so connected to their creator and to their senses. Like, the amount of their brain that they were using then that we a 16th of that now? That's all we got. And you talking about all of the other senses. Like, yes, we are created by the Most High to be so powerful
Yeah.
when tapping into all of those senses,
Right.
right? That yeah, I could see that being
If we were sharp,
scary. If
if we were
if.
sharp, if
Mm-hmm.
we were sharp. I know people right now who have honed in their taste bud so sharply that they can taste all of the different ingredients.
Mm.
Like in order to pass their culinary classes,
Mm-hmm.
they have to take a bite of something and they are supposed to be able to identify all
I
the
love that.
ingredients within
Mm-hmm.
that bite.
Mm-hmm.
That to me shows that we can heighten our senses.
We
I know
can.
people who have to in piano, like their instructors will play a note or a tune, and they have to be able by listening
Mm-hmm.
identify what that note is, what
Right.
that
And what key?
intonation,
Yeah.
what
And I
key is for.
uh-huh.
So they because they're so in tune, they're
Mm-hmm.
able to do that. Like I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
All I hear is noise. It's
Okay.
beautiful noise, but it's noise.
Right. But see, what religion teaches us though is to give that type of awareness and dedication to the laws, to being able to recite, rehearse
Right,
the laws, the
right.
rules.
Right.
What
And not
what's that?
actually be really as in tune with those laws
Right. And what they actually mean, how you
that you
apply
can
them.
apply
Yeah.
them. You can be
Mm,
not only that you can apply them, but you can create with them.
correct.
Because it's like theory versus execution.
Mm-hmm.
Music theory, you have all these theories about how these notes are supposed to
Right.
interact with each other. But when you get to application, now you can create, now that
Yes.
you know the rules, the law, now you can go beyond.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to be in tune with those senses.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to hear music. You got to be able to think it. You got to be able to see it. Even before you play it, you have to
Mm-hmm.
have foresight. You have to be able to
Yeah,
be
you
creative.
do.
And all that taps into our senses.
Right. So, question with you wanting to tap into your senses, right? And you going on this, I'm going to say spiritual because it ain't religious journey, which is amazing. Where do you, where do you stand, like when it comes to like the chakras, right? I think that's more of, is that Hindu, is that Buddha? Well, it's kind of they're kind of the
Yeah,
same, but,
I think that's
um,
like Buddhism.
the 7 chakras, when you're supposed to master those.
So I don't know.
Okay.
So I think where I'm at right now is I need to keep it simple.
Okay.
I need to keep it simple. I want to be able to hear God's voice. And that's why I believe like this 15 is good because I believe in all 15 of these seem really needed, real simple
Mhm.
to get to a place where I am fully aware of the full world around me, the physical, the spiritual,
Right.
and the soul.
But that's my point though, and that's why I brought up though the chakras, because like although it's called a different name, it's you're talking about the same things,
Right,
within your body. It's called they just associated with Hinduism or Buddhism. But like I said, it's mastering what I would probably say based on what you're saying. Maybe that's more soul than spirit, those seven. But
right. And I don't know where the journey may take me.
mm-hmm.
I'm open. I got to start with something.
Mm-hmm.
I think my hesitancy is because it's tied to things I don't believe in.
Okay.
It's hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to. In actuality, I think we should be pulling from all these different.
Absolutely.
But I think they all have a little bit of the truth,
Mm-hmm.
kind of spread out, and once you get it all, you really
Yeah.
start. I think I'm gonna be very particular, real careful with that.
Okay.
Just because I know enough that I know that it doesn't vibe with what I believe.
Mhm.
But I'm not saying that principle isn't dope. I think
Yeah.
there's people who are like in Wicca and stuff like that know a lot about herbs and earths
Mhm.
and stuff like that, stuff like that. But I'm not. I don't believe their whole foundation is. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Yeah, but like I don't think there should be any group that you do believe they hold foundation. And I think if you do, then that's flawed.
Well, so when I think of foundation, I think of like you could be you could be a Christian but not perfect,
Mhm.
but respect what Christianity is.
Yes.
Like you're on that journey. You're on the journey. You believe that there's a creator, a God who
Mhm.
loved us, realized we were flawed, made a path for us to be saved. That's a foundation I can
Yeah, but pretty
back
much
behind.
all of them have that same storyline.
Not no, no, they don't. Some of them believe you. Some believe like if you think of Greek mythology, you look at Egyptian. They don't. No, no, they believe in like reincarnation. Like we all are.
But I'm talking about the path to righteousness, okay? They all have a path to righteousness, every last one of them. And every last one of them have their own creation story as well. That is
Mm,
very similar. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I can't. I don't think it. From what I've read,
mm-hmm,
I don't see them like all of them have the same. Like not all of them believe in a need to be saved. Like, there's some that it's not about being like Hindus, they're
mm-hmm.
not about being saved, it's about being good. Like,
Well,
you get to a certain level, the more you reach your higher awareness, you get to a certain level, but
uh-huh.
we just keep rejuvenating until we get it right.
Until until you get it right. That's the point. Until you get
Right.
it right,
But there's
it's
no
your
need
being
for a savior.
saved though.
There's no need for a savior in Hinduism.
But how is there in go with me? Where is there a quote unquote need, okay, for a savior in Christianity when he already died for this?
Well, for us, that is our savior. But you got to recognize that this world is corrupted.
Yeah.
This is not even in all these religions, they all have these like perfect lands you're going to eventually get to. This is not euphoria. This is not
Mm-hmm.
what does Muslims call it? Where you get 30 30 versions.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. But, someone out there probably was like, "It's
Yeah.
this." But they all have like this place you go
Mm-hmm.
that's supposed to be um perfect. You get what I'm saying? But it's because we know that this part of humanity is corrupt. It has to
Mm-hmm.
change. Eventually, it has to go away.
Mm-hmm.
It has to. Can't is not sustainable. Eventually, we're going to destroy ourselves if we continue down this path. There's
Mm-hmm.
going to have to be some type of intervention. I think that is just common knowledge. So,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
so for me, I don't believe we can save ourselves. I don't
Mm.
think it's something that we like. I haven't been convinced. And once again,
Mhm.
I'm on this journey. I'm just telling you where I'm starting.
Yeah.
I don't believe we can save ourselves.
Mhm.
I don't. I think that it's going to require intervention. And I think God has intervened and has a plan to help us get to where we need to be.
Mhm.
And it's part of that journey, that we're on. But I don't think that is, oh, we just keep going until we get it right.
Yeah.
Because we get worse and worse and worse. I mean, we're
We
evidence is we get worse and worse and
do
worse.
get worse and worse, but I think the worse and worse that's happening is because of people who are not trying to have that relationship with the most high. Like they are void of that. Yes, is why we get worse and worse. But for those of us, yourself, who want to get it right, and the getting it right is whatever it is that the most high has for me. Okay, while I am on this earth doing my business, my getting it right is specific to me and it ain't gonna look like yours.
I get
Um,
that.
yeah, I think we're on a continuous journey of just still trying. We not getting worse and worse. We still trying.
Yeah, I honestly, well, I feel like I'm getting better.
Okay.
I'm getting wiser. I'm definitely more in tune now than when I was.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also getting more cynical.
In what way?
Like the things that I was taught as a kid, now as an adult, I'm like, yo, that don't make
Man, some BS. Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
But I think that's supposed to happen though. Cause I mean, it's like, when I was a child, I thought like a child. But then, when I became, so I think you're supposed to go through that evolution. I think we kind of maybe sanitize things for children just to kind of get them on a path. But
Right,
then yes, every human being, I believe, is supposed to question even those childhood teachings. Because that's how you mature. That's how you grow. That's how you start your personal relationship with the Most High. Because before, when you was a kid, that was according to your parents and them. But that ain't gonna get you nowhere. They relationship, they religion, whatever. That's not gonna get you into a heaven. You have to have your own, and that comes through questioning.
right.
Most High, what do you want from me? What does this mean?
And see, I think these same questions you're asking me, I'll be better equipped to answer them
Mm-hmm.
when my spiritual
Right.
soul and my physical are really in tune. I have to get those charges.
Mhm.
And the only way I'm going to do that is through meditation, through praise, through prayer, through uh, allowing myself to uh, connect with people emotionally,
Mhm.
allow myself to, uh, be comfortable setting boundaries.
Right.
You know,
I think that's a big one for you.
yeah,
That one. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because being in tune is not just overindulging in the
Mhm.
sense, but also uh, putting boundaries on the sense
Yeah.
so that you are, doing it in a balanced way. Like you're not
Mhm.
overpowering. It's like when you smell cologne.
Mhm.
You go into the shop and you go and you smell. Eventually, they all start blending together.
Right.
So overpowering that they got to give you that little,
The coffee. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
to kind of clear your palate
Uh-huh.
again. So you
Right.
got to be. It has to be a balance, and I think finding that in tuning into my senses.
Mhm.
That's the thing I'm gonna have in mind. Like, okay, yeah, I want to experience all my senses at their highest capacity, but I know that that's not their full capacity.
Mhm.
That's balance. There's got to be a balance to get to be where I'm at the highest capacity that I
Right.
can, but not so full that I'm being disruptive,
Right.
dysfunctional.
And I like that analogy that you just brought up with the cologne and the coffee beans because you did. Right.
So, what would be
Cleanse your
the
palate.
equivalent of the coffee bean in our day and time? I got an idea, but I want to think what you.
What would be an equivalent? I would probably say, and this is definitely my biased opinion, would be probably for an individual to get away from social media, step back.
Detox.
Yeah.
Detox.
Yeah, I hate social media.
Oh my goodness.
Hate it.
And I need to detox.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie. I need to make a rule. Like if starting this is probably the rule I'm gonna have to have. My phone gets turned off when I walk in my house.
Yeah.
Like if I haven't gotten it done by the time I've gotten home, it just isn't
Mhm.
done until the
Right.
next day.
Right.
But when my house needs to be my sanctuary.
It does. And that's like your reset. That's your, reconnect,
Yeah,
with your people around you and stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like we don't realize just how much of our attention is being taken by just scrolling and being entertained by everybody else's experiences
right.
when it's like that could be time for us to hone in, to focus in, and we're not using it.
And man, I love the term death scrolling. That's exactly what it is.
Mm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're scrolling to your death.
Yes. Yeah, we do.
You know? And yeah, so man, this is my journey that I'm on.
I think
I
it's
just
awesome.
yeah, I want to know. And here's the thing, because it doesn't sound hard,
Mhm.
but I know it's not going to be
Mhm.
because it's going to require sacrifice
Right.
that I probably don't want to give. I know I don't want to give,
Mhm.
but it requires sacrifice. It means that the things that I'm usually comfortable with,
Mhm.
I'm going to have to let go.
Yep.
And that to me is like, do I really want to let these
Right.
things go? But I know I need to.
And that's what keeps most of us in this loop is that we're not ready to be inconvenienced or
Yes,
uncomfortable. Yeah.
yes, yes. But then my curiosity is, what am I going to be like? What would I be like if I was able to hone in
Mhm.
my senses 10%?
Boy, look. I swear I'm supposed to be jumping from dimension to dimension. I swear I am. So yeah, like let me go on this journey with you so I can finally start doing it. So
Man, I'm
yes.
talking about the things that, well, see, then you get to a place where nobody around you can understand
Oh my God. And that's lonely. Oh,
you.
that's lonely. So yeah,
Yes.
you're absolutely right.
When you get to that place where nobody around you,
Mhm. And they call you crazy.
they
Yeah.
call you crazy,
You become
like,
Kanye. Yeah.
you know,
Like, uh-uh.
you on something,
Mhm.
and then it's like, man, I got to keep this to myself
Yeah.
because they just don't understand
That
where
is
I'm at.
so real. But then do you think, isn't that like part of the point? Like if we're really talking about relationship with the most high, right? And
Yeah,
that's really wanting to get it right,
yeah,
it's not supposed to matter if anybody else understands you. Not.
I hear you. There's a couple of people I don't want to separate from though. That I think
Okay.
it may cause that though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
my wife and my kids.
Right.
I don't want to like God. I think he said it.
Mhm.
Selfish guy.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I think if you start giving him your undivided attention, he's gonna want it.
He is, but I think that fear of us being separated from our loved ones prevents us from stepping in or onto that journey. When I think in actuality, what ends up happening is the Most High through the Holy Spirit, He allows your family, He changes their hearts, I'll say. And so they then decide to take that journey with you. So there's nothing to be afraid of no more. Your family there. He's looking for you to start. He like, bro, get past that fear. I got everything else after that.
Well, I'm with it. I think I'm gonna start with these senses.
Mhm.
Find a way to worship more, love more, and spend more time with people. You
Mhm.
know, I feel like I got that because it's my profession.
Yeah.
I have to. But the distractions that keep me from really honing it in,
Mhm.
I know I'm gonna have to let go.
And so you've identified them distractions?
Oh yeah, phone is
Okay.
one.
So the phone is
Phone
it.
is one. I don't watch TV that much.
Uh-huh.
That's not that much. One thing this weekend, I got to be more physical.
Mm.
So I got to get up off the couch, off the
Okay.
bed, and just do more. Like so, instead of going to church the Sabbath, we went to um, it was kind of like a petting zoo, but it was really
Okay.
someone's farm.
Mhm.
Call it a farm.
Mm.
They had goats, they had
Mm.
llamas, they had
Mhm. That's a
horses,
phone.
they had
Mhm.
emus, they had ponies, they had chickens and
Mhm.
rabbits and three pot-bellied pigs.
Mm-mm.
Oh man, I love them, man.
Yeah, I just
Yes.
went there and touched them animals, some dirty animals.
Well, we fed them.
Y'all fed them? Okay.
Yeah, we fed them.
Mm.
They had a donkey. Like, yeah, we
Donkey.
yeah, they had a donkey. That donkey was crazy.
Shrek, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And he was making sure
Really?
he got mad. So they had a little trough full of water, and I guess we fed him first because he was the
Okay.
first one to the fence. And then all the horses around him came up. So we started feeding him. He backed up.
Mm-mm.
He went over to the water trough and he started kicking up water. Yes,
No.
he did.
Nah, just 'cause the horses came to drink.
He was like, y'all messed up my thing.
Wow.
But it was so fun feeding the pigs,
Okay.
the pot belly pigs.
What did you feed them?
Oh, we fed them all the same thing. It looked like some
Oh.
grain,
Oh, was it okay,
like
got you.
grain.
Mm.
But whatever it was like candy for
Mm.
man. That pot-bellied pigs, man, 'cause I was the only one that fed them because they looked a little fishy.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, man, but they got into my little cup, man. They was about to tear that cup to pieces,
Mm.
man.
Mhm.
But, yeah,
But you enjoyed that experience.
I did
Uh-huh.
because as much as it was uncomfortable,
Hmm.
you know, walking around in the mud and the farm,
Oh, okay.
and going to 'cause, I mean, it's big, huge. Like, she had a couple of acres
Uh,
worth of land, the lady that owned it. Shout out to uh Animals R Us. Yeah.
oh, that's what it's called? Okay.
And shoot y'all out. Y'all did a good job. Make sure that people know that they got a summer camp going on
Mm.
this summer for kids, teaching them how to ride.
Mhm.
Black owned business.
Oh, let's go.
Lady by
Eh,
herself decided a
yeah.
few years ago to start a farm.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Animals R
You
Us.
know I'm here for a black-owned business. Animals are us. Let's
Animals
go.
R Us, yes. So hopefully some people see that. Go and check
Mhm.
them out. Tell them I hooked it up in the podcast. But yeah, it was fun. My
Mhm.
daughter never have been that close to animals.
Mm.
She was enjoying it. She was like, I don't want to feed them, and then she's feeding everything.
Yeah.
She's feeding everything. I mean, she's all up in the
Yeah.
and all them.
Mhm.
Feed them all, man. The goats were a mess.
Mm.
You never feed goats.
Oh, really?
They won't leave you alone.
Oh.
They won't leave you. Every time they saw a blue cup, once we fed them once, the whole party,
They following ya.
they follow wherever we going, they going. And then they
Uh-huh.
be like bumping their heads.
Mm.
They get like, hurry up.
Mm.
Like, notice me. And I was,
Dang.
ooh, yeah. So I had to get them away. I had to grab a cup and I walked away,
Uh-huh.
letting them walk ahead. And then I fed the goats. And I end up dumping it out like in a little in the center of all
Yeah, and just let them.
and let them enjoy it. And I
Mhm.
walked away. And that was the only way we was able to get them to leave us alone, man.
You said you did this yesterday. When did you do? As
Yesterday,
recently? Okay. Yeah,
yesterday,
yesterday. Mhm.
yesterday was a full day.
Okay.
We did that, and then we went to a friend's house. But
Mhm.
my point was physical sense of getting out, touching,
Mhm.
being in nature, being was good,
Mm.
and I have to do that more.
Mhm. And you enjoy those types of outdoors, yeah,
I do,
experiences.
but it's still taxing for
Mhm.
me being
Mhm.
such a big
Oh, yeah, I'm saying, like, yeah, for you to
yeah.
go back to doing things that you enjoy, yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
And that's why I told myself I was like, the reason it's so tough is because not just because I'm a big dude, it's because I stopped doing it.
Mm.
And it's like light and darkness can't be housed in the same
Mhm.
space. If I become physical, no longer, so heavy that I can't,
Mhm.
it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Right.
Eventually it's gonna get comfortable
Right.
being physical. And I have to remind myself to not stop doing the things that are healthy for me.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's like prayer, going back to the scripture.
Mm.
I'm be honest, there's times where I wasn't praying as much as I
Mhm. We go through that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Everything is okay.
Yep. Ooh, we ain't praying. Eh,
Everything's okay. You know, I'll say thank you for the food,
right.
and protect me while I sleep.
Yep. Thank you for waking me up.
But
That's it.
there's no.
There's no real relationship.
But as soon as the crisis happens,
Mhm.
God,
I
talk
got
to
all the
me.
time in the
I'm
world
listening
then.
to you.
Yep.
Just me and you.
Now you bargaining. I
Waking up
promise
four
I'll
o'clock
spend
in
more
the
time
morning.
with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Waking up 4 o'clock in the morning. Like,
Mhm.
God, let me hear what you gotta say.
Yes.
But imagine I do that every day.
Right.
Man, so many things that probably be prevented if I just prayed and meditate
Mhm.
God's word and on
Mhm.
God and talk to him. And so, I gotta get my senses. I
Yeah.
think that's step one.
That is.
So if y'all
Right.
following me on this journey, step one, we gotta get our senses
Yeah. You're gonna have to keep giving the
heightened.
people updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then see where we're going. But I think it's time. I
Mhm.
think it's time for us to get in tune with our full self, the
Right.
mental, physical, spiritual,
And the
and
soul.
the soul.
Mhm. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Start a initiative. Do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. 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 So I don't know. And a couple of other things.
Mhm.
We were playing volleyball
I love playing volleyball.
for Memorial's Day.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
didn't give me my plate. Yeah, I didn't forget that. You didn't call me about that. Uh-huh. But go ahead.
it was
Mhm. I believe you.
good.
Mhm.
But we put up a volleyball net
Mhm.
for you.
Yes.
And I don't know how long, man.
You forgot you had.
Forgot I
Yes.
had.
Uh-huh. You were so the next day, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And
uh,
so, and that's why I like music.
mm,
You know, playing the guitar is so soothing.
mm.
Just sit there and hit a couple of
Just
notes.
from. Mhm.
Like those things matter. Just scrolling on TikTok,
Yeah.
scrolling on
It
your phone,
don't. It don't.
it has dull,
It has.
dull our sense.
It has. Like, it's dulled our creativity, our
Mhm.
ingenuity, our intention. I mean, and it's so crazy that you can't get nobody who on social media to really even understand what I'm saying right now, you know?
Right.
But it has. We have become so freaking stupid.
Right. And so, that's my plan. My plan
Mhm.
is to really start connecting with God, like really getting in touch with our creator. Because I believe our creator is in everything
He is.
so in nature,
Right.
he speaks. I know he speaks in nature. I
Mhm.
know he speaks in our relationships,
Mhm.
in our heart. You know, I know he speaks in physical touch.
Mhm.
Just touch and be healing comes
Yeah.
physical touch. And all the things that he's created, they're there.
Mhm.
And the lessons to be learned of who he is
Right.
and us connecting with is there. You ever been spelunking?
No, but you've told me about you being I never even knew what it was until you told me.
Right. So spelunking,
Uh,
caving where you get muddy.
you good.
But
Mm-mm.
I remember this one time where I went spelunking covered when I came out the cave. I'm not gonna tell you about the experience in the cave. It's
Mm.
crazy. But when I came out the cave, covered head to toe
No, thank you.
in mud. And I was so exhausted. Oh, you don't care. You trust me. When you get out,
Uh-huh.
I was so exhausted. It was in the sun. I'm laying in the grass. I'm like everyone's at this point.
Uh-huh.
We're glad to be out. Thankful to be out. Thankful to see the sun. You're
Yeah.
so thankful to see the sun. You don't care that it's hot.
Wow.
But I remember like spending like 30 minutes laying in the grass while the sun was shining on me and the mud started turning hard.
Mm.
Like I can feel everything tightening up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because the mud's got hard. It's all on my face and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I remember feeling this feeling of groundedness.
Mm.
Like I was so in tune. I felt like with everything around me, the
Mhm.
blaze of the grass, even the bugs, like nothing was
Yeah.
bothering me. Normally you lay on the grass, you're worrying about bugs,
Mhm.
snakes gonna touch you,
Mhm.
and what's flying around and how hot you are. But in that moment, I felt so good just to be alive, so grateful, so thankful,
Mhm.
so connected to
Yeah.
the earth because I was in the belly of the earth. You know what I
Mm.
mean? That I felt like really good, really grounded. I
Mhm.
felt like, man, there was some of the problems I was having wasn't as big
Mm.
as I was making.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, man, being alive in and of itself is good.
Mhm.
And
I mean, there is this practice called grounding,
right,
that a lot of people it's become more modern,
right,
now that a lot of people do it, but it's for that reason, just to connect with the earth, to feel the earth, allow its energy, to speak to you, the vibrations of it to, feel you and energize you, So that's all how I would frame it. It's all spiritual.
right.
Yeah.
And so that physical, spiritual, and our soul are all interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all need it
Mm-hmm.
on all different levels to be in tune, to be good. We can't just be physically good
Right.
and spiritually sick,
Mm-hmm.
or our soul beings.
Yeah.
And we won't talk about that, but there's some people who walk around with hatred,
Mm.
anger,
I
and
know.
bitterness,
Mhm.
you know, and that their soul is sick.
Yeah.
Their soul is sick, man.
They're
The things that
soulless.
they're capable of doing
Mhm.
and how they're capable of hurting people
Mhm. Don't care.
because their soul is sick.
Yep.
And so we gotta be careful.
Mhm.
So that's my truth, man.
I respect
I'm
that.
on this journey. I think I want this religious awakening,
Yeah.
but I think it's gonna start with me being in tune with it.
Absolutely. And so your first step is it's gonna look like what? Like how are you going to start
Honestly.
getting in tune with your senses?
Oh, okay. So a couple of things I've been thinking about, but I know I need to do more.
Oh,
So on the physical aspect, I know one area I want to really hone in on is my
okay.
physical well being is being more active.
Yeah.
So, I do sessions every day.
Okay.
So after every session, I want to do a walk around my building.
Come on. You got a
Yeah.
plan. Yep.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it just, when I do my notes, so even if I'm even if I'm coming into another session late, because
Mhm.
sometimes they roll over a little bit, I'm gonna start telling my client, like, hey, I need 3 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it takes to walk around this building because
Mhm.
I got to reset for.
Yes.
And so just be patient. It's
Right.
gonna be okay. I'm sorry, but I need a reset.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that, like making it a personal mission
Mhm.
to just walk every time I have a session.
Good.
Some other things. So for my soul, as far as connecting with people, I think I do a lot for others,
Mm.
but not enough for myself.
Mhm.
I want to encourage myself.
Mm.
I want to speak life into me more and
Mhm.
to my kids.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that I'm spending quality time with them, and my wife,
Yeah.
and not make it so difficult or hard to spend time. I want to just be able to really enjoy them, invest.
Mm.
And then I would say for spiritually, I want to pray more.
Mhm.
I want to pray.
Mhm.
I don't know if I've ever done that well
Okay.
because I'm not a flashy person. When I
Yeah.
think of praise, I think of like being in a crowded room with your hands and
Yeah.
hallelujah,
You're not
hallelujah.
gonna run around the building.
Nah, that ain't
That
me.
ain't
That
you.
ain't me.
Oh,
That ain't
okay.
me. That ain't me. That ain't me at all. But I'm not silently, but at a lower tone, give God
Mhm.
praise. And it could just be when I'm in a room with a couple of people saying, let me tell y'all what I'm thankful for.
Right.
Let me tell you what God has done for and encourage people by giving God the praise that He's done in my life.
Mhm.
Something like that. I don't know. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna come. The
It
opportunity is
will,
gonna come.
right. But I think that's a good start. Absolutely. Because I mean,
Started.
like I remember a couple years back, what I started doing was just similar to your praise, thanking God for, like, I mean, some of the littlest, the smallest things, right? Just to kind of get me into that pattern of thanking God. So if I'm on my way to work and I can't find my key and I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, God, where's my key? My key. I found it. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Just to kind of get that in my mind. I don't know if it was God or not, but
Right.
I'm going to start thanking Him for everything. I love a shower. I'm in that shower. Oh, thank you, God. This running water.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
I think
being
whatever is a
appreciative of
start.
things that we may take it
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that we
for
don't even think
granted.
about. Yeah.
Because trying to think something that happened recently where a main hit a tree hit the main
Mm-hmm.
in our neighborhood
Okay.
water main, so they had to turn the water off for like 13 hours.
Oh wow. That's
Now
good.
we had bottled water. Luckily,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't need water, but knowing that water was not available,
Right.
man, it was like we really take having water for
Me
granted.
too.
We take having water for granted.
Yes.
Because that thing is you can't use the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make drinks. Right.
Mm-hmm. Can't wash your hands.
Can't
Yeah.
wash your yeah, you can't wash your hands
Oh
without
yeah.
water. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the thing is serious.
Right.
And so, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I'm kind of grateful,
Yeah.
that I have water.
Yeah. Like my youngest, she's done a lot of international traveling in her young age. And there have been several or a couple of countries that she's visited that when she's come back, she's been incredibly grateful for what she has here.
Yeah.
Like you said, many other things that we take for granted because it's just given so freely here, in the West, in America, that a lot of other countries don't have. Something so basic, paved roads.
Yeah.
So basic that we just come out here and we drive on and we get mad when there's a little itty bitty pothole. Why they ain't come to fix this?
Right.
They don't do that in many other countries. So like that's the one thing I think for her. And I know when they were younger, I'm a big documentary person. I love a documentary. And so there would be times when we would, as a family, just watch documentaries on like the sex in India and SCCTS of India. And there's this one on YouTube, Soft White Underbelly, where it goes into like various different communities and exposing a lot of the injustice. I mean, grave human injustices.
Yeah.
People don't have what we have,
Right.
but I wanted them to see, like, bruh,
Right.
you talk about privilege.
And I want to give. See, that's another thing. I think about the people who give
Mm-hmm.
those causes.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine if no one was giving to those causes.
Right.
They wouldn't be helping them. Whether it's helping animals,
Mm-hmm.
but someone is giving
Mm-hmm.
to those causes. And
Yes.
I want to be able to give those causes. Like me, I feel like heightened awareness of senses.
Yeah.
When my sense is heightened, it's going to be important to give to those causes.
Right. I think that's our
So
duty.
I'm giving, yeah.
Yeah. When we have, it's your duty to give.
It's our
Yeah.
duty not
Mm-hmm.
to waste. Our
Mm-hmm.
duty not to pollute the
Mm-hmm.
like I recycle.
Ooh, you better than me.
I recycle. They pass out those blue cans.
Yeah.
I recycle. I
Uh-huh.
do, and I'm good at it, man. Every month, because they collect it once a month.
Okay.
My thing is full of plastic
Mm.
paper.
Mhm.
Because I recycle. I believe in it. But there's so much more we should be doing to
There
take
is.
care
Yeah.
of the world around us.
Yes.
So, so, so help. This is a problem. Is
Mhm.
those people who get rich off
Mm.
of destroying? Are they
Yep.
not? Are they sick spiritually?
I would think so. They are soulless. Yes. You have
Soulless.
to be. if you are okay,
That's what it means to sell your soul.
like, seriously.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
You'd rather take money
Mhm.
than to take care of your
Mhm.
soul.
Yes. Than
That's
to
what it
take care of a human being.
Yeah,
Yes.
instead of feeding your soul,
Mm-mm.
you'd rather sell it. You'd
Mhm.
rather give it up so that you can make money. Because
Correct.
there's a lot of people who are doing things and they know that they pollute and hurt the
Mhm.
earth, but because they make a lot of money off of it,
Right.
they're not gonna stop it.
They don't
Like
care.
oil drilling.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, don't come after me, the oil company. I'm too small. I'm a small fish in a small pond.
Don't even put
But
that
you
out there.
can't tell me the drilling oil
Word.
is not sucking something out of the earth that's gonna make the earth have a hard
There
time
has to be.
to recover.
Yeah.
You can't tell me.
Right.
And you can't tell me we can't get off of oil.
Hmm.
You can't tell me. We may have to suffer a little bit,
Yeah, but it
but
could
we
be
can get off
done.
of oil.
Right. I mean, they've proven it in some African countries where those people have, a couple of the people have figured out how to run engines on water.
Right.
So,
I mean, and that's
yeah.
just one aspect because I know oil
Right.
is used for
For
everything.
everything. Yeah, I
For
get it.
plastic, for everything
Mm-hmm.
that we currently use. But imagine if we started reducing our use of oil. Let's just say the driving oil
Mm-hmm.
that we use. Imagine if we stopped that.
Yep.
And we can because electric, you can make electric cars.
Yeah.
Imagine if we started, you know, man, but see, that requires us to have a soul.
It does. And having a soul requires us to be inconvenienced. We are not willing to be inconvenienced, as we said earlier. We are not. Like, imagine if there was this initiative, this push for we'll just say the southern region to go oilless. No more petrol cars.
Right,
The people gonna have a fit,
right.
an entire fit and push back because we don't want to be inconvenienced.
And so that's what I mean as humanity, as humans, if we really want to really get in touch, be in touch with our creator, if we really want to be saved, we have to heighten our awareness,
Mm-hmm.
our sense,
Mm-hmm.
not only physically, but spiritually
Right.
and our soul. And we got to nourish it because we have gotten too comfortable with what we would call, I guess, sin. We've gotten too
Mhm.
comfortable with evil or
Right.
illness. We have gotten too comfortable with illness,
Uh-huh, or being sick.
being
Yeah.
sick,
Mhm.
that we don't want to be well.
Right. 100% truth. Yeah.
That's it. We've gotten too comfortable with being
Mhm.
ill that we don't want
To
to
the
be
point we don't even know that we sick because this sick looks healthy to us now. Yeah, it's
or
very
it's
important.
profitable.
Mhm.
I'm okay with being sick as long as I got money and I can do whatever I want.
Right.
But what I bet you wealthy people are realizing that none of that means anything.
I hope they do.
You can have all that money, but what really matters is your senses.
Mhm.
What really matters is how well you are, how well your senses are operating. Because you can't experience life, healthiness, can't really experience the good in life
Right.
if your senses are not in tune.
So, do you think that, and I kinda answered this earlier, but take it a step further, that a wealthy person will actually come to this type of awakening, I'll say, right? Because like everything that has built their wealth has been built on sickness, on illness, soullessness.
Oh,
So,
so I think if they live long enough, they will.
okay.
But I think there's so many they try so many other things before they get back to the
Mm-hmm.
like you think about some of these artists who are now in the news because they're doing some of the most disgusting things
Yeah.
ever. They're it so many of them are so in pursuit of happiness and enjoyment and true euphoria or whatever that they go to the darkest, most obscure places
Mm-hmm.
trying to look for them when the obvious answer is right in front of them.
Right in front of you. Yeah.
Right in front of, but instead of just nourishing their soul
Yeah.
and their spirit and their physical in a healthy way, which, yes, requires sacrifice and patience,
Mhm.
all the other stuff. They're trying to find the quick way.
Right.
But like having no taste buds, eating an apple pie, all you're gonna it's just gonna taste.
Right.
You're not gonna be able to truly experience the goodness of it if your senses are dull.
Mhm.
Period.
Period, yeah.
You're not gonna enjoy it. So it don't matter how much money you have, it don't matter what you're doing, you'll
Mhm.
never enjoy it if your senses are dull.
Mm. You're just
You
gonna be
never
spinning your
enjoy it.
wheels 'cause you're constantly trying to enjoy it. You're chasing it.
Yeah,
It's like you think that if the harder I work, the
yeah,
more money I make,
right,
I'll be able to taste it. No.
right. You can have the biggest house, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with having
Yeah, it ain't.
a big house because this can be very enjoyable,
Yeah.
but your senses can be dull, and it ends up being like, I can never get happiness out of it.
Mm.
I can't pull the happiness out
Mhm.
because your senses are dull.
Right, babe, you gotta come smell that coffee bean. Yeah, you got
You gotta
come on and
reset,
reset
yeah,
now.
reset the coffee bean,
Yeah,
man.
uh-huh.
Oh, this was good.
Yeah.
This was good. So we're gonna definitely hit this one up again because
Yeah,
I'm on a journey getting tune with my senses.
good. I support you.
I'm on a journey getting
Love
tune
it.
with my senses.
Mhm.
All right, we'll do this again
Alright, till next time.
next